here are the 3 keys to starting a successful Facebook group. And I'll share with you that we just hit 10,000 members in our Facebook group this couple of weeks, maybe this past week or so. But I have to tell you that this is my 3rd Facebook group that I've tried to grow. The first 2 failed and didn't do very well. The first one tapped out about 2,000 people. The second one tapped out about 4,000 people. And then finally on the 3rd try, we were able to get to that 10,000 person mark, which I think is, at least in my head, was a really, really milestone kind of point, because I mean, that's a lot of people. I mean, you get 10,000 people in a room, that's a lot of people. So I think that's really, really important to note that if you haven't started, if you are challenged, if you feel like if you've tried and didn't succeed, like that's business, that's okay, that's life. And so this is actually my 3rd Facebook group, and I ironically, well, let's get into some of the tips here. So the 3 keys to starting it are niche, name, and numbers. Okay, niche, name, and numbers. And I think the next thing that we should do is to have some notes that we can write. And so I'm going to create some more overlays to make it easier for you guys. But niche is the #1 thing that you have to do when you are building and starting a Facebook group. It's so important to have and to think about who you are targeting before you even get started, right? Like your group, before you create the group, should be for a very particular person. And what I would encourage you to do is to get out of the like the digital marketing like space, is like to get out of the entrepreneur space. If I wasn't so passionate about helping you guys and like teaching you guys this stuff, I would go and get into a different niche. It's like the challenge is that trying to do digital marketing tactics on digital marketers is 10 times harder than any other person. And so really, really encourage you to find, if you can, another niche outside of digital marketers, right? Raynard says it's a real estate group. I'm curious if you guys, what kind of group you guys are thinking about. And what I would tell you is that the more you can focus, the better, right? My very first Facebook group, which only was about 2,000 people, right? It was like an entrepreneurs group. It was very, very broad, right? And then my second one was a little bit more niched in that, and that was, we got to 4,000 people, and then by the time that we got to, Chatbot 101, we were super niched, right? Like, if you think about chatbots, that is like a very, like, digital marketing is its own niche, but then chatbots is a niche within digital marketing. And so the more that you can niche down, the thinner this vein can be, the easier it's going to be to really dominate that space. So your niche is so important. And the reason why is because the name is one of the biggest drivers of your Facebook growth. And so when I think about how most people found us in 2 ways. The first way is that people actually found us in the Many Crash group, which is kind of ironic, which is just interesting. People said that they found us in the Many Crash group, or they found us from our YouTube channel, which happens. But the number one way that people found us was from Facebook's suggested groups, right? Facebook is always trying to connect like people, and so they know what's in your search history, they know what's in your stuff, and so they kind of know what kind of groups you would be interested in, and they know what other people, similar people are going to be interested in. So what you name your group is so important, right? That those first few words are so vital, right? And then the rest of the title to really give it some good SEO. But your name is probably one of the most valuable and the most important things that you can do when you're starting a Facebook group. So if you guys are hopping on, John, Andrew, what's up? We're talking about Facebook groups. I know some of you guys who just hopped on have Facebook groups. I'm curious if you guys already have one, put yes. If you guys say haven't created one yet, put not yet, and we will try and make it a little bit more tailored for you.